yourself with a crusade. Tattoo the Earth.
Welcome back to another installment of Podioslave Tattoos the Earth podcast series covering Tattoo the Earth Festival past and present. And I just want to thank everyone. If this is your first episode of this series that you've listened to, or you've checked out all of them, thank you so much. The response has been fucking awesome. I'm Anthony. I'm joined by Tony, Nate. You guys good? You guys okay?
I think this is probably one of our proudest moments with this one in particular, right? I mean, this has been an absolute blast, but this one, man, I was listening to the episode again this morning, and I'm just like, is this real life? Did this really happen? We have it documented. We have video footage, so I guess it's real. It just seems surreal, you know?
Yeah, I'm Tony. Yes, the video won't see the light of day because we told them we wouldn't do that, but it's for us. We have it. But I mean, hey, the conversation we have coming at you today is Anthrax, and to tell the three of us even a year ago that there was a possibility you might have Anthrax on the podcast, and to actually see it come to fruition, man, what a pinch me moment, right, guys?
Totally. And I mean, we're not going to spoil any of the content of the episode, but we do go way the fuck back with this band, whether it's their music or them in pop culture. We do go way back, hearing them on the living back in the day, all the way through to the new stuff, and just legends in the game. Do we even need to introduce them? I mean, I think at this point you've clicked on it. You're here for them.
Yeah, you might have skipped everything else and came straight to this one, which is okay. Understandable.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Frank Bello and Scott Ian are by now, what rock are you living under?
How did you end up listening right now? But yeah, we had Scott Ian, rhythm guitarist for Anthrax, Frank Bello, bassist. Two dudes that really need no introduction, and it's no accident that they are headlining this year's Tattoo the Earth Festival, August 27th at the Palladium Outdoors in Worcester, Mass., which is right around the corner. When you're listening to this, it's coming right up. It's not too late. You can still catch it.
Absolutely. And I think you should. If you're in the region, if you're in the Worcester area or a couple-hour drive, find your way to the show. We'll be there. You'll find us too.
We'll be there, and this is their 40th year anniversary. I guess 41 technically because of the pandemic, but 41 years as a band, and we'll get into it right now. They talked about their prep for this tour. It's going to be a good one, so let's get into it right now with Anthrax.
Okay, so the year is 1995. I'm 11 years old. I get introduced to Anthrax in a kind of a different way. It wasn't an older brother or a cousin giving me a record saying, check these guys out. It was something a little more, a little different in the pop culture landscape. Do you guys have any clue what I'm talking about?
News radio.
Oh, dude,
wow.
really?
No way.
Damn.
Did you get our notes before we started?
No, but as soon as you said it was a little different in a pop culture way, I have very fond memories of doing news radio with Frank and John in 1995.
Yeah,
wow.
And I loved that episode. I love that show. Growing up, that was probably one of my favorite sitcoms as a kid, and still occasionally toss it on. And fairly recently watched that episode where you guys are on there.
And another thing, that was with the great Phil Hartman, which Scott, remember we went in his little booth there and he sat us down. He's reading his, "Hiya, boys, come on in." It was really so. It was one of those surreal moments. Like, you're such big fans, and Joe Rogan for that matter, he was a great dude back then too. So they were all really nice to us. That was a fun experience.
Except for Andy Dick.
Did he expose himself or something? Yeah.
No, but to make a kind of a long story short, so the way those, not like we've done a lot of sitcoms, we did two, but since we were veterans going into news radio, having done Married with Children, you kind of rehearse all week, and then they film on Fridays, and then there's always the rap party on Friday after they're done. So we went to the rap party and ended up back on the set in the studio with, I believe, Andy Dick and Dave Foley. Yep. And I can't remember who else was there. That redhead actress, I don't remember who else.
Vicky Lewis, I think, is her name.
There might have been some other people there, but for sure Dave and Andy, because I knew Dave Foley already socially, and they invited us back to the studio to have more drinks. And at some point we left, and then we get a call the next day from our manager saying, "What the fuck did you guys do?" last night at the set for the TV show. We're like, what do you mean? We went back there, we had some drinks, and we said goodnight. And they're like, well, he says, I got a call that the set is trashed. And Andy Dick told the producers that you guys did it.
No way.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, won't even take credit for his own, wreaking havoc. And that's bullshit. It was total BS. He fucking went nuts, trashed a bunch of shit, and figured, I'll blame it on the metal guys. Everyone will think they did it.
I mean, all we did was Dave Foley was the one that had the great beers. And remember, he had the refrigerator he had, kept open it. We just sat really in his dressing room a lot of the time and just told stories. It was a lot of fun, but none of that ever happened. That's crazy. I never even knew where that came from.
That fucker. And then I would see him around, and then so our manager called back to the producer or whoever he was talking to and said, it wasn't my guys. You should check with your guys. And asked them about Andy Dick, and then the producer said, "Oh, like, it's happened before." And then I would see that guy around socially over the years. Every couple of years, seemingly, I would bump into him somewhere, and he would have a good laugh about it.
It's like, oh yeah, I blamed it on them.
Yeah,
why not?
That's great.
So let's talk music. So you guys got a pretty busy summer. You guys are going out with Black Label, going out with Hatebreed. We love both those bands. We love you guys. It's a special one, obviously. 40 years of the band, technically 41. We're not even that old. We haven't even been on this planet that old. So when you hear those milestones, it's like, well, shit, that's amazing. So, like, what does that mean for you guys, one, to still be doing it, and two, be doing it at a high level? Because that's the other thing. Some are still kicking around, but you guys are still crushing it.
Yeah, it's not McCartney level, but it's pretty cool. Maybe when we get to 60 years, then you get to headline Glastonbury.
Right, yeah.
Because he could have never have done that before.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great thing. Look, we haven't been out in a while on a tour. It's going to be very foreign to all of us to be actually in a tour bus from this whole COVID thing, being locked down in our houses. So I think it's going to be invigorating, fun, all that good stuff. But at the same time, it's going to be getting into a rhythm. I'm looking forward to the rhythm, and to do the set list we have planned is going to be a lot of fun. Also, we're going back and digging some stuff up, and I think the fans are really going to dig it. So I'm pretty excited about what we have planned.
Yeah, to speak to what Frankie just said, we've done, I think, 10 one-offs since last June. So over the last year, we've played 10 one-off festivals in the States. And as great as that's been, and at least realizing that, oh, hey, we're still going to be a band that gets to play shows, one-offs are really hard. You ramp up all this energy, and you get out there, and you give everything you have, and then you're just in pain for 3 days. You can never get into a groove, no matter how much you work out in advance, and because we are a very physical band, and I'm really looking forward to playing 2 shows in a row. Getting out and actually getting into tour shape and getting into that groove, because 3-4 shows that first week, we're gonna feel so good after that and be in such good shape again after not doing this for so many years. It's gonna feel so good knowing that, oh my God, I'm in tour shape now. I'm not struggling to downpick this song, like I can't wait. And to be out there with our bros. I mean, we've known Zach since 1988. We've known, all the BLS guys, and of course the Hatebreed dudes.
Hatebreed guys, Jamie.
We go back with Jamie since forever. To be going out with our friends and know that, there's other faces besides the dudes in your bubble that you could go hang out with and be an idiot with. It just makes it that much more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, speaking of which, part of what we're talking about is the Tattoo the Earth Festival Resurrection, at least the date in Worcester. So what you're saying basically is you're already going to have your kind of tour legs in that regard. So going to add this date was not really a tough decision.
Yeah,
no,
so.
Not at all.
We better. I mean, for that matter, like he said, I don't think anybody knows the stage shape. After 40 years, about 3 or 4 shows, like Scott said, it really is that. It really takes you the 3 or 4 shows to feel okay, I can do this and move on. And by that time, and a lot of people are excited about this show too, man. A lot of people are texting me about it. So really, they want a guest list already and all that. So a lot of people are talking about this show. So I'm really excited. It's going to be outside, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of good stuff going on. So I think by then we'll have our shit down.
Yeah. It's something really great to look forward to. You know, a lot of times you get a tour outing and you might have a lot of really killer shows that you're looking forward to play at the front of the tour, in the middle. There's nothing worse than when you have a tour and you look at it and it's like, oh, the last week that's like, you know. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we've got, you know, the Tattoo the Earth in Worcester and New York and Philly is like how we end the tour. So there's no way for us to be on automatic pilot going into the last week. Right. If anything, it's kind of like, wow, 3 of the biggest shows of the tour are right at the end. You know, we better
step it up.
Tattoo the Earth. We're going to close that show after, you know, a day of bands. We have to be firing on all cylinders. Otherwise, we don't deserve to be there, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's fitting, right? Those are like the markets that you probably came up playing, like places like Worcester that are off the map a little bit. For us, no, we used to go down there all the time, but.
Yeah,
sure.
Totally.
I mean, those are always great shows too. So, you know, it gets you up. You know where you're going. You know what you're facing. It's like, all right, this is going to be. Let's focus on. It's going to come up, and we're going to be revved up, and I'm psyched about it. I really am.
So that's August 27th in Worcester, outdoors in the parking lot there. I think it holds like 10K, so it's going to be pretty big.
Awesome.
Do you guys remember the original Tattoo the Earth from 2000? Did you ever hear about it or get stories from like Slayer, Slipknot, those guys going out?
Sure. I don't have any specific stories, but I certainly remember the brand, yes.
Yeah, of course.
So this gets pitched to you guys. Obviously, we're going to put a couple tours together this day, get a bunch of bands. You had to probably say okay to that. Like, what were your first thoughts when you heard about it coming back?
Great. Yeah, the more the merrier, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything that unites bands together and this music and promotes it, it's all good, man. So everything should come back and promote this music. That's what it should be. I'm happy about this. It's a great brand name. Let's do it.
And it's got some bands coming out of the woodwork. You got Red Chord coming back from the dead. You got Bleeding Through, who's kind of off and on. You got Overcast, Brian Fair, friend of the pod. Like, you guys, who knows if any other band could have brought them out.
Mike from Killswitch is in Overcast, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
That's awesome right there.
It's going to be, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of people backstage. We're hoping to be there too, so maybe we'll see you guys. Yeah, it's it's wild that it's back, and it's also going to be, you know, the tattoo stuff too. And there's going to be body art and all that on the premises that day. So to make it even bigger, even fuller, you get some stuff to do outside of the music.
Yeah, it'd be a great vibe. I mean, that's the atmosphere will be on fire, and that's important. Just have a good time. Different aspects of it, show and outside stuff. That's great. It's good for everybody, especially for what people have gone through. It's time to get out and have a good time. So it's exactly what we need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, like you said, bringing back all these bands together and having it be one big metal festival for a day, it kind of lends itself. There hasn't been one like this for a handful of years. So you guys are kind of bringing it back, which is really cool. That must be something that excites you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, but, you know, is this the first show like this? Certainly in a big outdoor thing in Worcester, probably in a long time, I would have to imagine, right? So, yeah, for sure. I would like to think people will be coming from all over the Northeast, you know, to see it. It's really exciting that we get to be a part of that. Yeah, and as far as, I know it's only the one-off that day, but you know, nothing else has gone out again in the States right yet. I mean, you know, there's a lot of big tours out, but they haven't done a Mayhem Festival or things like that in a bit, right? Certainly, even pre-COVID, I can't count COVID in that time period, but even pre-COVID, seemingly it had been a couple of years since any of these big branded things. I know Ozfest had become like a kind of a one-off thing, I think, right? Yep. And some of them had become one-off type of things, but and so is this. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, you're right. Though. Yep.
You're right, though. if it ignites, if something like this one show ignites maybe a tour going forward into something else this year, next year, whatever it is, as long as it does well, blah, blah, blah. The whole point is to see a bunch of great bands together for everybody to go out and hang. That's the idea, and have a good time. So I hope it does continue on with these brand names, stuff like this. And it's exciting to even be part of this and start it up again.
Well, we're excited that you guys are on board to do it, bring all these bands together. You're already going out with a stacked lineup, and then to pull in another stacked lineup and then add other people on a second stage. Like it's going to be pretty fucking badass.
Right on.
So you touched on this a little bit, but how do you gear up for it? And I'll just preface this by saying we had Brian Fair from Shadows Fall on the podcast right before they did their reunion, actually in Worcester in December. And he was talking about like physically gearing up to play. He was doing like lunges in his fucking laundry room to be able to, whip his neck with the dreads and stuff. So how do you get, like, what are you getting reps in? Whether it's, I'm just thinking like Scott doing cardio with a guitar in his hand. Like, what are you guys doing?
I go to the gym. I've got the guitar in my hand. I crank Slayer and I run on the treadmill for 45. No, I don't. There's no there. Maybe that would be a way to properly prepare, but headbanging is such a specific thing, and even if you just headbang along the music in your house, let's say, you're never going to reach the actual level, at least I don't, of what it's like actually physically being on stage. So no matter what prep I do working, because I do work out and boxing, cardio, whatever, hiking, I get my wind up, and that's certainly the most important thing, because if you're up there huffing and puffing with your hands on your knees, it's not really such a good look.
Right.
In a band that's been around for 41 years. Hold on. Okay. Like, just like you get to the breakdown of Cottonamash. Hold on.
Give me a second, guys.
5-second break. Good. I'll be good.
War dance. Hold on.
Is this the encore? What is this? Is this the
get the air for war dance? Coughing shit up.
So I always make sure I've got my wind. That's the one thing I can prepare for, and know that I'm going to get up there and I'm not going to be sucking air. So the headbanging, that's been since day one. It's just something that the body is not meant to actually do. So it's going to make you pay for it every time.
Yeah. First 3 shows, 4 shows hurts, in anticipation for this tour. Because I don't want to be the guy huffing, I joined this damn spin class.
There you go.
Let me tell you, man. I never thought I would join a spin class. I'm usually a yoga guy. I do my cardio at home and the bike and at home. Blah blah blah. No, it's not going to be right. I joined this damn spin. They're kicking the shit out of me. They're kicking the shit out of me when I say that. The teacher's like, no, more. I'm like, what are you yelling at? I'm just, come on, I'm dying. I'm going nuts. I can only do 2 or 3 days a week, and she'll kill me. But and I'll do my own stuff at home. So there's only so much, but there's nothing like stage shape. Nothing like what Scott said. There's nothing like it. So it'll come. Next will hurt the first few shows. We're going to be walking like this. How you doing? All right. Icing shit down.
Yeah.
That's what happens for the first couple until you get into a rhythm.
It's great to hear that. I mean, I think anyone that's listening, fans, can appreciate that, because you're getting your money's worth. And when you think about it, it's not metal adjacent, but I think Mick Jagger kind of set the bar in terms of stage shape, right? The guy's 78, I think.
If he can do it, if Mick can do, that's an inspiration. If he can do it, man, everybody should be able to do it. That's amazing just to see that, what he does.
Yeah. It shows that it's a pricey ticket, but you get you get your money's worth. Yeah. Another thing that's money's worth for the fans is the set list. You guys are coming on 41 years. So how does that go down? How do you guys pick the set list? Is it, speaking of rehearsal and getting in shape, are you just running through your whole catalog and picking the best?
We are actually rehearsing for this tour, which is the first for Anthrax in. I mean, we never. We've done 10 one-offs over the last year, and we haven't rehearsed even the first one back last June, after not having played in over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
We just kind of got in the dressing room, and Charlie was tapping on his pads, and we had guitars, and we just kind of ran through anything we thought maybe was questionable. But yeah, for this run coming up, because we are actually bringing out more production than we've ever brought out in a long time. So it's necessary, not only just for us playing some songs that we haven't played in a long time and getting them tight, but also for the crew, because there's a lot of production shit going on that we actually need to spend the time, like 3 days rehearsal, which for us is kind of like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, we want to condense that, but we can't.
There's nothing more boring than rehearsal. So, but yeah, we're actually going to hold our feet to the fire and go do it and make sure everything comes together properly before we get on stage in Phoenix on July 26th, which is the first show. So, yeah, and there are going to be some. There's some stuff we played on the live stream that we did, which of course that was the live stream, but it's not out there doing it every night. And we tried to look. I don't know. I think that festival show's probably the same set we're doing. It's a 70-minute set with us and Black Label, and we tried to cover all the bases. And that's as much as I'm going to spoil.
It's fair. It's fair.
But it's good.
I love that you said you guys practice, because like fans, we look at you guys as like superhuman. You just record an album, go out on stage, but there's this prep for it. And so are you guys physically in different locations? Like for the pandemic, could you? Yeah. So this is probably, makes sense, coming out of the pandemic that you actually have to practice.
No, we didn't rehearse. I don't think we've rehearsed for a tour. I can't tell you when's the last time we actually properly rehearsed.
So you are superhuman. You are superhuman.
Yeah. And that's, I know most bands do rehearse before they go out. Certainly really big bands that have a lot of production, they have to, because there's so many cues and things that need to happen. But yeah, this is a rarity for us, and I'm actually really looking forward to it, because it's something that we don't do. And for me personally, these days, I need the rehearsal and I need the warm-up physically to be able to play the songs the way they need to be played correctly. So now at least I know going into Phoenix, it wasn't just me in the dressing room for 40 minutes going over stuff. I'll already have a couple of rehearsals under my belt, and I think my hands will be actually much more prepared to play Clot in the Mosh the way it needs to be played, and I'm not cheating.
Yeah, and the specific lighting cues, stuff where we have to be on a stage for specific area, for specific parts for the songs. I mean, we really usually don't do that. And for this, we're stepping it up. And I'm happy to say, I'm actually excited like Scott is, because I think the whole vibe of the show is going to be different for everybody. The energy is going to be there, but the look of the show is going to be really cool.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read between the lines, and you can no comment me all you want. It sounds like with the beefed up production, it's going to be pretty badass, and people should go get their tickets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. That's why we're saying all these enticing things to come out and buy tickets.
There's a lot of stuff here. They're rehearsing for the first time in forever.
We're rehearsing for you guys. It's like shaving before a date. You know what I mean? Or taking a shower before going out to meet your friends. Yeah, we're actually getting our shit together for this tour.
I love it.
It should be good. It should be. I'm excited. Look, it's not even a month away, and it's coming, and I'm really stoked on it. Just the song list we have, the show, and just being back, man. Just being back is going to be great.
I think someone mentioned it before about a stacked lineup, and even if this show was Hatebreed, Black Label, and Anthrax in Worcester, if it was just that, for me, you've got what a fucking night that is already. Yep. It's a fucking night of 1,000 riffs. I mean, how many times are you going to fucking bang your head and throw your body around already just with that? I mean, there's going to be so many moments of there's so many of those moments just with those three bands. Now add in everything else on that they've put together for Tattoo the Earth, and yeah, it's quite the day out.
So to kind of bring us home here, did 30-year-old Scott and Frank, when you guys were filming News Radio, did you think you'd be here in 2022 still fucking kicking it?
Well, since I'm 32 now, I don't know how that works.
That's fair.
Well, we all, certainly after doing News Radio and Married with Children, just in the we did those two. Married with Children was 92, News Radio was 95. And, we all really knew we were in the wrong line of work, having done those sitcoms, because they get paid truckloads of money for a lot less physical effort.
Right. No headbanging on set.
Unless you're Andy Dick, who's fucking upstage.
So we all tried to get on sitcoms, but that failed. So, we figured we needed to stick with metal. We needed to stick with Anthrax. No one was looking for me to be in a sitcom. So I can't say I specifically ever thought as far as 2022, but I will say, even from way earlier on, I mean, in the 80s, I think there was definitely a feeling of, after Among the Living, and no pun intended, we tattooed the earth with our sound in that moment in time. It really, there was a feeling that we were able to write our own ticket in a lot of ways after that record and that touring cycle, and the connection we made with people all over the world. I think I felt like, we'll be able to do this as long as we want to do it, as long as it's something that remains fun for us to do, because if we're having fun doing it and our connection to it is based out of that, then I think everybody else around the world is going to connect to it for the same reason. And that hasn't changed. That's never changed.
I got a fun trivia question if you guys are up for it.
Yeah.
When Beavis and Butthead reviewed your video for High Pro Glow, what was their, the punchline that they said about that song?
Oh, fuck. There was something about, the only thing I remember was, because in that video there's the stock footage of bombs dropping.
Yeah.
Like military footage, and one of them said something about me being in the Army because of my shaved head or something.
They did say that. Yeah, they did say that.
I don't remember any
punchlines.
No,
they said it should be the national anthem, and I agree.
Nice. I love that song.
I love that song too. It's a fun, great song to play, and one of the good ones.
All right, so Anthrax on tour with Black Label Society and Hatebreed, and then coming to the Tattoo the Earth festival day one-off in Worcester as well, late August. But go get your tickets if they're coming to a city near you. I mean, even if you're going to drive a couple hours, it's going to be worth it. Thank you guys for checking in with us tonight, and we really appreciate chatting with you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. And
see you soon.
Can't wait to get out there.
Let's do this.
And there you have it, our conversation with Frank Bello and Scott Ian of the mighty 41-year-old Anthrax, which is kind of wild too. Man, again, I know I keep saying this, but if you told me, even 10-year-old me, who used to watch news radio pretty regularly, that I'd be able to have that conversation with those two guys and have Scott Ian guess it.
Right, and that's the thing. He nailed it. He did.
This is so cool, man. I now share something in common with Maura Tierney, the actress that played Lisa Miller on News Radio. I've also interviewed Anthrax, so I'm pretty excited about that.
But you knew more about him than she did.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely we do our homework here at the Podioslave podcast.
Yeah, that was the ultimate air pressure equalizer. We all felt comfortable almost immediately after that story, because he just went on, and the whole Andy Dick element. I mean, classic. That's headline material.
Totally.
And you know what? That's the shit I geek out about, because you almost had to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to see that back in the day, and it's kind of a deep cut for them. I bet hardcore Anthrax fans don't know about that. So now they're going to go back. So YouTube views for that episode are going to be through the roof.
Absolutely. Yeah, go watch that News Radio episode. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that conversation got me pretty freaking stoked for this show. I personally, I've never seen Anthrax. I don't know how it hasn't happened. I've never seen them. For all the fests I've been to, all the metal fests over the last 20 years, never seen them. And, with that catalog, it just makes you wonder what they're going to play. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could look it up on Setlist FM right now. I have not done that. I don't want to spoil it. This is one that I want to just go in with fresh ears, fresh eyes, and just soak it in.
Yeah, and they're going to have some surprises for us at Tattoo the Earth that I think they probably haven't played elsewhere too. So if you've seen them on this leg or any of the shows that have happened to this point, I'm stoked. I'm excited for you. I'm excited that we're going to get to see some of that, but I bet we get a couple extra things too. Because like Scott said during the interview, hey, if we're headlining that day with all those bands, we better bring it.
Yeah, they're stoked to be there. And they rehearsed for this tour, right? So this is going to be special in that regard too, because they're more prepared than they've ever been. I guess they don't typically rehearse, but this is one that they did. 41 years, you got to be, 10 out of 10. So this is going to be great.
I know. Like, it's funny to hear that, because most music nerds like us, and even casual fans, we don't think of that prep, like practicing and, playing with a click track, or, arranging the lights and where you're going to be and the whole show element. But that's no fucking joke. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. I think they said, 3 days? 3 days of rehearsals and prep and, stand here so the pyrotechnics don't get you in the face, that type of shit.
Yeah, it's really like rehearsing for like a Broadway play, but as a metal band, like you need to know timing, cues, everyone in crew aside, right? Because they're on the side basically ready for any kind of, mishap or oversight to just like fix it in real time, which is crazy. Drink.
Yeah, no, they. I'm sure that they've got a lot of things up their sleeve, and they've already shown some of those things up their sleeve on this tour. So we talked to them before they went out, obviously. Now they've been out for a few weeks, and yeah, man, what a cool moment. So happy that we were able to do this, and to be able to put together this entire kind of retrospective on Tattoo the Earth and the resurrection of it. It's been really fun to have these conversations.
It has been a lot of fun, and I feel more connected to the fest than ever. I mean, we didn't go to the original one. We are going to go to this one, and I'm just looking forward to like just seeing Anthrax when the sun sets at night in the August air. It's going to be awesome. I've been to that venue, and it's going to be fucking awesome.
It really is. It's going to be like a nerd closing ceremony at the Olympics. Like, oh, we finally made it.
Yeah, after all this work, I am excited for the closing ceremonies. Not going to lie. It's been a blast to do, but man, I'm ready to let loose and have some fun at that show. Thank you, everybody who has checked this out and checked out past episodes. And hey, there's a bunch of stuff back there, so go check it out. It's not all Tattoo the Earth. We've had fun with a bunch of different artists and people around the music industry, and just the three of us too. Some OG eps back there that I'm sure you'll like. But yeah, hey, we appreciate anybody who has clicked on any episode, so thank you for doing it with this one.
And more in the can, right? We have things brewing behind the scenes. Even with this, simultaneously, we're kind of proactively recording for post Tattoo the Earth. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes here too.
Yeah, I think we got 2 or 3 interviews already recorded. So there's a backlog here, and we're excited to get it out to the world. So with that, thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, nerds.
Peace, potheads. Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.